It was 25 years ago tomorrow that New York City police burst into a gay bar in Greenwich Village and set off a struggle that, despite some significant victories, is still very much underway. Here's ABC's Beth Nissen.
It was the last summer of the 60s. The nation was a swelter of protest against the Vietnam War, for civil rights, for equal rights. The movement for gay and lesbian rights at the time was a dull contrast, small in size and voice, more likely to petition than demand.
We're only talking about, a couple of hundred people who had the guts pre-Stonewall to stand up and do or say anything.
Stonewall is the name of the gay bar in New York City's Greenwich Village that police raided in the early hours of June 28, 1969. Some of those they arrested resisted, and suddenly so did the crowd of onlookers, throwing bottles and pennies, fists, and insults.
They barricaded the police inside of the bar, and they gave the police a sample of the treatment they had been subjected to for years.
It was the first of 5 nights of street action that came to be known as the Stonewall Riots.
It was the first time that lesbians and gays had become visible on the streets, and that was like a fire. I mean, it spread and people heard about it.
People were calling each other up, were writing to each other, and suddenly there was a gay liberation movement.
An exhibit now on display at the New York Public Library chronicles what happened within hours of the riots. Flyers were mimeographed. New groups formed, the Gay Liberation Front and others, committed to action, organization, action, unity, action. Public action, including the annual Gay Pride March, started to mark the anniversary of the Stonewall Riots. Over 25 years, it has become one of the most powerful demonstrations of the many facets and many faces of gays and lesbians. A celebration of rights that have been won, a review of rights yet to be won. Using tactics and strengths developed since that June week in 1969.
You would not have an AIDS activist movement, I believe, if you hadn't had a Stonewall gay liberation movement.
Today's march was planned to cross town and cross cultures, to cross in front of the United Nations, a place where human rights, all human rights, are to be championed.
To know about gay and lesbian lives and the gay and lesbian struggle is for everybody to gain a piece of that courage, to stand up and be fully who you are.
That, say those who were there, is why adults should remember and children learn what Stonewall was and what it meant. Beth Nissen, ABC News, New York.
And that's World News Sunday. Peter Jennings will be back tomorrow on World News Tonight.